Taylor. I mean,
Who said that, bro? Who said that?
I mean, when you watch him,
Yeah.
you see pure domination. This is a guy who has taken over that offense completely and he has turned the Colts into his team. I mean, that's how impactful he's been and how good he's been for the Colts. So, I mean, Jonathan Taylor, man, he has taken his game to a whole new level, and he can only get better in time. And I would go as far to say that he might be the best running back in the NFL right now.
I would.
As of right now, he is the
best. As of right now, he is.
In the NFL. And I feel special because of that, because we share the same name.
But to address that comment, Darren Waller being compared to Kyle Pitts should not be a thing. Darren Waller is good, don't get me wrong, but there is also not a single wide receiver in Las Vegas right now. Darren Waller is a great.
They got Winfrey.
That's cool, I guess. That's cool. Your fastest wide receiver.
Brian? Is it Brian? Brian?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what is the highlight of the wide receiver core this season for the Las Vegas Raiders is a tragedy. That is the highlight of your wide receiver core. Darren Waller's good, but Kyle Pitts is Darren Waller in his rookie year. Like, he's doing the things Darren Waller's doing now. Like, as a rookie, this kid's 20-something years old. Like, he's a dog. He's 10 times better than Waller. I don't want to hear that shit. Get that.
Like, I get what you're saying. I'm a fan of Waller. And
I am too.
Of course, I love his story, but I will have to see more of Pitts before I will say, he's going to be more dominant than Waller. Right. I'm not saying he won't be. No, I think he will be. I think he will be. I do think he will be. But like, to be honest, Waller right now's numbers are not like the last couple seasons. He's at 610 yards. He's only had 2 touchdowns.
Right.
Like, and be like you said, and it's like you said, yeah, when he's your only option, guess who's getting double teamed?
Mm-hmm.
And so they have to pick up somebody. Like the Raiders, I don't know, get somebody off your team, your other team, pick it somebody. I don't care what you do. Trade. You should have never probably traded Amari. But that's not here nor there.
There's no telling how Amari would have been. Look how awful he's been with the Cowboys.
He hasn't really been that awful. Like, it's just been hurt. And then now he's hurt again.
But he's not awful.
He's not awful. Like, his numbers, he's just been he hasn't really been, I'm going to be honest with you, he hasn't played 100% in a
played with the
long time. Yep. When he first got traded there, and that first year right after.
He looked sharp.
Right.
Yeah, but like, don't get me wrong, he still has his games, but it doesn't help.
Premier receiver that,
But he's getting older too. You got to remember, he's not going to be the same guy from, I guess fans need to realize we weren't going to get the Amari that was on the Raiders.
Right. And I think you also have to think of it as who's comfortable going where. Khalil Mack going to already a top 10 defense was ecstatic. Amari Cooper going to the Cowboys at the time, he probably wasn't the happiest about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and, right now he's only at about 500 yards because of being injured, or right now we know he's not. He's missing. Hey, Joe. He's missing. He's got to miss 10 games because he's not vaccinated. Amari. That's why he was out because of COVID. He tested positive for COVID and he can't play tomorrow because he wasn't vaccinated. Mm-hmm. So CeeDee Lamb is probably on his way back. But yeah, his numbers, I will say, aren't really like I would say what Jonathan's is. Does he, still have an opportunity to get over 1,000? Yeah, I think he could still do it. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. But you got to actually be on the field to kind of,
you got to be healthy to
be there
to reach that milestone. Yeah, I mean, it would be incredible for a guy like Amari Cooper. But if he can't stay healthy, then it just seems like it's not possible at all.
And he might not be there next year because, I was looking at Untouchable Cars going next season. I've heard that from a lot of Raiders fans.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that if he was going to be there next season, it was going because of Gruden. Like Gruden was probably going to save him. And what's so funny is that would have been the longest it was the longest QB relationship he's had. But yeah, I don't think Carr. Does he have an out? Does he have an out next year?
I'll say it from the jump. I think Derek goes to Green Bay. I think that's their bridge. Derek Carr going to Green Bay. Rodgers probably goes somewhere. Who knows? But I don't know.
Well, I think Rodgers going to the Steelers.
I don't know why that's in my brain. I just keep dreaming about it. I think Derek Carr is going to be a Green Bay Packer.
Here's my question about that, Mike. You say Derek Carr should go to the Green Bay Packers. Here's my question. What's the ceiling with Derek Carr and the Green Bay Packers?
I think it's a bridge. I think it's a bridge to really find out what you have in Jordan Love, and it's sustained success because
somebody else agrees with you.
Rodgers to Vegas, Carr to Green Bay.
Wow.
I'm rocking with you. But I really do think that, one, I don't think Rodgers goes there. I really don't.
He's going to Pittsburgh.
Okay, Jonathan, I love you. I love you. And
Rodgers is talking too much. Like
it's a good fit, Jonathan, but all he did was look at Mike Tomlin, and now everyone thinks he's going to Pittsburgh. So I think that was a little overblown.
To me, that was a hint. Like, okay,
if you watch the game, Mike Tomlin calls a timeout right before Aaron Rodgers hikes the ball, and that's because he knew that Aaron Rodgers was about to fuck up that Pittsburgh defense. So that's why Aaron looked at him and smiled, because he was literally telling him, like, I knew exactly what I was about to do. It wasn't like, hey, that's my guy. You know what I mean? Like, that's one, that's tampering. And two, Aaron's just not like that. Mike's not like that. But someone
but not necessarily saying that's your guy, but I mean, look, it's a cold weather city. He's used to playing in a cold weather city. It's also
but why would you want to finish you don't want to finish your career in a cold weather city?
No, I'm not saying that doesn't want to go there. I'm just saying
I'm agreeing with you, Mike. It don't fit. Like you're not going to finish your last few years,
right?
In a shitty weather.
Peyton did. San Francisco.
Peyton Manning did, but his defense rode him. But he already went from cold to cold. You know what I'm saying?
He went from
he did go, but it's still cold. Like, let me find.
If I had to give Rodgers anywhere, I think the Steelers are a great place just because of Mike Tomlin being a legitimate head coach. You have great weapons. I like Miami too. I think if you're really giving up on Tua the way you are, you take a couple picks for him, and you give these weapons.
That's where Deshaun Watson will end up, though. I just have that feeling.
I think he ends up somewhere a lot colder and a lot darker.
Really?
Yeah. It's gonna go cling.
Yep.
Cling.
I think there's lights out where he goes.
There's a team that nobody keeps talking about when it comes to the quarterback sweepstakes. We keep hearing about Miami, Pittsburgh with Roethlisberger being gone. The Washington football team is primed to make a trade for one of these players.
Oh yeah,
make a big splash in free agency. Again, Carr's due $19 million next year if he's a pre-June 1 cut. He doesn't count anything against. So maybe he's a guy you go and get if you're Washington. Right. But Washington was in on the Rodgers stuff, if you remember. Yeah. If Sean Watson stuff gets cleared out, Dan Snyder and that organization is the type that will absolutely take on a headache if they think it comes down to the bottom line. A different situation. Right. They signed Albert Haynesworth to the biggest free agent money deal of all time. So this is an organization that is not afraid to go out there and kind of take that first initial hit and then say, okay, we don't care because we're in the best interest of winning.
Right.
So, again, I think that's a team where people look. I think they're going to have about $61 million in cap space. Again, that's a fluid situation. As guys cut, it'll go up. You sign guys, things of that sort. It'll happen. But Washington's a team that people need to watch out about. Yeah. I think they have enough young pieces that they can put a defensive lineman in a trade along with draft picks. They have, They have Terry McLaurin. They have Gibson. They have Logan Thomas. Curtis Samuel just signed a free agent deal. So, again, if you're trying to bring people in, if you're trying to get a quarterback, Denver did it with these wide receivers. They signed Cortland Sutton to a good deal. They signed Tim Patrick to a good deal. If you're trying to bring a quarterback in, you look and you say, this is what's on the menu. These are the guys that we have that you're going to be able to have around you. And that's not a bad thing to have.
Right. My thing though, Joe, is I think with Carr, that works. I think with a lot of other individuals that you can trade for, that works. But with Aaron Rodgers, having a defensive-minded coach like Ron Rivera and Vic Fangio just isn't it for me, because that's been his problem throughout everything is he needs someone who's going to be able to take over from a play-calling perspective, and they really just don't have that.
I don't think so, because he played under McCarthy, who's an offensive mind. He's played under
and he hated McCarthy.
That's because McCarthy's a bad head coach. It wasn't anything but his offense. It's because he was a bad head coach.
Right. But that's the thing with Matt LaFleur too. Like Matt LaFleur, really, I mean, if outside of Rodgers, he put great play calling with Rodgers. Anything else, it's really just not it. So I feel like
I don't even think they got along at first, though.
Right, but that's why I feel like Mike Tomlin definitely is the best option, because Mike Tomlin's one of those guys. He's been able to work with nutcases. He's been able to work with egos. He's been able to work with everybody. And I'm talking crackheads. I'm not talking about like, oh, sometimes.
Are we still talking about Carr here? What did I miss?
No, we're talking. Actually, what even the conversation wasn't even about. Like, to be honest, the real question was not about Carr. The question was, if you could start a franchise around one player, who would it be? Your guy, Untouchable. He said Pitts is like Waller because Mike was.
I said
he chose Pitts. Mm-hmm. So we said, I would choose Waller because I do like Waller, but because I don't want to say put all my eggs in the basket on Pitts because I feel it's too young. So the conversation.
Pitts is in a bad situation in Atlanta where Matt Ryan is on his way out.
Yeah, and that's what I said, and we even said, Pitts that it might get around him. Like they might rebuild around Pitts. Like that might be the only positive out of that situation. Right. So your guy brought up Carr. That's how we got on Carr. Right. It wasn't so much like the conversation. It was
right. Yeah, so we just Carr's coming back next year.
If we want to talk about Carr, you want to go to an offensive-minded coach for Derek Carr, why not New Orleans with Sean Payton?
Because
I'm gonna say
he needs somebody like that, but he loves Jameis Winston.
He loves Jameis Winston, but you pay Taysom Hill almost $95 million too.
That's funny money.
That's you know what I'm saying. So it's just weird. It was just weird to me. But I'll say this though: you bring in a quarterback like Carr that throws 4,000 passing yards this season, and then you see what you're going to do with Michael Thomas. Because right now, Michael Thomas don't really want to come back because there's no quarterback. Especially he's hurt. But if he does, if he's healthy, you got to think about it. He can come back. He can finally have a quarterback. You got an Alvin Kamara.
Right.
Yeah, right here.
I do like, though, how Michael Thomas
I think Sean Payton, out of all the teams that y'all name outside of Matt LaFleur, that Sean Payton would be the guy. Dennis Allen was on that coaching staff when the car was there.
Right.
So he got that connection with Dennis Allen, and Dennis Allen got a top 10 defense. I'm just saying it from. I just think New Orleans is the best fit. I don't know how long Mike Tomlin is going to stay in Pittsburgh.
Right.
That's my only issue. I don't see him being in there. I don't see Tomlin being there the next 5 years.
Right. But Spotlight, would you, if you're Sean Payton, say, am I willing to have almost $200 million solely on my quarterback room? I mean, that's a lot.
One thing about Derek Carr, he's not one of those type of quarterbacks that's going to take big money.
He's not going to.
He is. He signed a big money deal last time. Derek Carr wants paid.
Yeah, but it wasn't that big.
But he's not going. Yeah, but it's not going right now. That they have Taysom and they can't afford Derek Carr because they still have Winston. He has one more year on that contract. He got a 2. He has signed a 2 year. I understand you could drop.
I'm just saying, me personally. When it comes to stat wise, who are you taking out of the 3 quarterbacks? Winston, Carr, or Hill?
Right, but Winston. You have to pay all 3.
I'm taking Winston.
I mean, if it's going to come down to how Winston come back off the ACL too.
See, but you can't even trade
next year is going into his last year of his contract. So
right.
Okay, I'm going to trade Winston because he's cheaper. He's going to put up stats equitable to Carr, and he's already been in the system. So that's who I'm going to take. But I want to answer your question, LT, because I didn't catch that was the question you guys were asking. Starting, if we could take one player to build a franchise now.
Non-quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to go non-quarterback. Okay.
I'm taking Quentin Nelson. I'm taking an offensive lineman who can absolutely be dominating in the running game and really has positional versatility. If you need to put him at left tackle, he can absolutely slide over and play left tackle. And by the way, that's his weaker of the positions because he's incredible at guard. So it doesn't matter who my quarterback is or who my running back is. Quentin Nelson is going to be able to open up lanes and protect whoever is lined up behind him. So if I'm building a franchise right now and I can take one player in the league, non-quarterback, it's Quentin Nelson.
And you need
non-quarterback? That's tough.
That's why I took Kyle Pitts, because like from my perspective, it ain't no shot at Darren Waller because it sounded like I was taking a shot, but Kyle Pitts is a wide receiver in a tight end's body. That's why
I know that because Kyle Pitts from Philadelphia. I watched him play in high school.
Exactly.
So he came out of high school playing wide receiver and converted to tight end.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm like, bro, like I don't like the Waller comparison because I'm like, honestly,
that's why I said a few weeks ago
that's why they made the Waller comparison because Waller played wide receiver at Georgia Tech, and when he got into the league, they converted him to a tight end.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why they made that comparison.
Right.
If you're going to compare Kyle Pitts, I think a more fair comparison would be a young Calvin Johnson. I'm not sure it's another tight end. It's a big body guy who runs routes, who's fast, has an incredible catch radius, who looks like he should be able to block, but isn't ever asked to block.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, and Spotlight, who would you choose? I chose Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan chose.
That's one of them.
Who did you choose?
Justin
Jefferson. Yeah, Justin Jefferson.
If I really had to start a franchise with one player,
it's tough.
This is tough.
It was real tough.
And it got to be non-quarterback, right?
Non-quarterback,
yeah. Because we all know if we say quarterback, there's going to be 2 or 3 answers.
Personally,
4 answers.
Yeah.
I will start. Y'all might not like this, but
Derek Carr.
No, not Derek Carr. No, it's not even a Raider.
He's a quarterback.
No, listen, I love my Derek Carr. I get on him when he's shitty, so I get on him. But he's a rookie right now, and I think you can still build something around him, and that is Ja'Marr Chase.
I like it.
I like it.
That is Ja'Marr Chase. Ja'Marr Chase is the best rookie wide receiver in the league at this moment.
Right.
With the young Joe Burrow, and you still have a Joe Mixon that still can get it done. If that defense could get better and get some pieces around that defense and build that offensive line, Cincinnati Bengals going to be a team to reckon with in the AFC North.
Agreed. My homer pick is Micah Parsons. But that's my homer pick.
I can see that too. I can see Michael Parsons.
Aaron Donald. No surprise, no one said Aaron Donald.
Because Aaron Donald, we already know what Aaron Donald can do. We already know that he's solidified as one of the top defensive tackles in the league, or one of the top defensive players in the league.
One of the best edge rushers in the game today.
And I had to play. Like most of us picked a young player.
Yes.
What I'm saying. So that his age plays a big factor of why.
They're all the same age?
Yes. No, but right now, you picked Jonathan Taylor. You picked Justin Jefferson. I picked Quentin Nelson. I mean, they're all young. Like you said, they're all young guys. That's who I'm building a franchise around. Same as if you do this in the NBA, nobody's picking LeBron James because he's 38 years old. Like,
please don't jinx about Freddie coming up here about LeBron James.
I was about to say that.
Don't jinx it.
So do we want to do this?
He's at work. Thank God.
If it was a quarterback and I wanted to build my franchise around, is Justin Herbert. If it was a quarterback,
I like that. I like that.
A quarterback, it'll be Justin Herbert.
I like that because he came into the league and he caught on really fast. And
a lot of Oregon quarterbacks don't have success in this league.
Right.
And how Jonathan said,
and he's done some amazing things here in LA.
Who would be yours, Mike?
We already know it's Justin Fields for Mike. Come on.
So of all the quarterbacks in the league, that's the one that you're going with right now?
Yeah.
in all reality,
Justin Fields is not that bad.
I'd love to take Justin. I'd really love to take Justin. I truly would. But I'm still, if we're talking about ceilings and what guys could be, I still take Trevor Lawrence. I'm still high on Trevor, and
I just feel bad for Trevor.
Yeah,
I feel bad with him.
I think Trevor. I think a lot of people are doubting Trevor. It's crazy because when Trevor's in college, everyone's afraid to say anything. But when Trevor enters the league, it's, I don't think he's going to pan out. You're just saying that because he went to Jacksonville, bro. Like, if he would have went to a Patrick Mahomes type situation, we're talking about a guy who is going to run the league. And unfortunately, I wish I could say the same for Justin Fields. Hey, you went to a team that actually made the playoffs. Unfortunately, that team's exploding, and that team's ready to die and set on fire. And I'm ready to set myself on fire. And if Matt Nagy isn't fired tomorrow after the game, I will set myself on fire. But that's neither here nor there. But I still think Trevor Lawrence has the body of Andrew Luck, and he has the mindset of a Tom Brady. He's a great game manager, and he has the speed. I'm not going to say of a Lamar Jackson. I would say more of a Justin Herbert, Josh Allen than I would anything else. He's not as fast as Lamar, but this kid has wheels. And I think if you give him the right situation, if I'm taking a quarterback, I would take Trevor just because I am a Clemson fan, but I watched Trevor Lawrence, I'll be real, is the reason I'm a Clemson fan. I didn't give a shit about college football until I saw Trevor Lawrence play. And after that, I've been stuck on him since. But I would go Trevor, but my heart wants to say Justin.
To me, my answer is complicated just because if you were to just hold me over the fire, the answer is Kyler Murray. But I can't answer Kyler Murray because he can't stay healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have like a couple other quarterbacks, but in all honesty, there's one guy that I look at who just carries himself in a different way. He's still young. It's Joe Burrow. I think he's got just enough athleticism that he's able to roll out of the pocket. Like you said about Ja'Marr Chase, some of those passes, the reason Ja'Marr Chase has been able to get down the field is because of the movement that Joe Burrow has. He looks like a prototypical old style quarterback with new age athleticism where he's able to get out just enough. He is able to run just a tad. He's a little bit quicker than Herbert, although Herbert had an incredible running game against Pittsburgh, 90 yards rushing. His best game by far in his 2 years. But to me, if I'm building one guy to build around the future, I think it's Burrow because I think he can throw passes at all three levels. I think he can get the ball down the field. He can hit those intermediate routes, and he's really good at guys coming out of the backfield and screen passes and stuff like that. And
now I'm thinking about that with Joe Burrow. Now with the way that he played, you got a Ja'Marr Chase, you got a T. Higgins, you got a Tyler Boyd. With this offense and how they're playing is going to attract people to come to Cincinnati because of their quarterback. So with free agency, the Cincinnati Bengals ain't no laughing stock of the league anymore. Right. So players is going to want to come play for Joe Burrow.
Right. And I'm just saying, if Atlanta, LDZ and I talked about it, if Atlanta can't build around Kyle Pitts, if I'm Kyle Pitts, hey, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, you got Ja'Marr Chase. If I'm Kyle Pitts, I'm going there. I'm going.
And they're tied in. They're tied in situation.
What's next for Atlanta if they get rid of Matt Ryan? What's next?
They got for a whole bunch of cap space.
Look down at the bottom of your shoe. Yeah. Look down at the bottom of your shoe. That's what's next for Atlanta.
A whole bunch of cap space. I just want to say this. I love Matt Ryan. I'm a huge Matt Ryan fan.
Right.
Because Atlanta fans dog him.
Yeah.
He's not having a great season. Is he having a great season? No. But
he had one season though, and everyone.
No,
I disagree with that,
Jonathan, stop right there, because you obviously have not paid attention to him. Just because of that, he has been a top 10 quarterback for majority of his career, if not top 5 in stats. So that's how I know you only paid attention to the record and not the man.
It is he do it majority without Julio Jones being
exactly, and that's why everybody thought, because Julio was hurt, he wasn't going to do nothing. He's doing stuff now without Julio.
MVP season, and since then,
Ever since that Super Bowl run, they have not been the same. They changed coaches. They fired Dan Quinn.
But he was still the same for about 5 to 7 years.
They brought Arthur Smith in to think he's going to be a great play caller. Right. He's not a great play caller. I think Matt Ryan has a lot in the tank. He just needs to leave Atlanta.
Yeah, he has no line. When you have no line. You thought what's his name in Seattle? Wilson's line was bad. Yeah, go to Atlanta. It's even
worse. Oh, that's nasty.
I will say, though, I think at the end of the day, whoever is replacing him isn't coming out of this year's draft, without a doubt. I don't think this is
quarterbacks coming out the draft is trash anyway.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. If you're replacing Matt Ryan, I say wait another year, get another Kyle Pitts type guy, someone who's just generational. Take the best player available. Don't take the best player at need, because if you're trying,
he has an out. I think he has an out this year.
It's gonna be bad though. It's gonna be bad.
I think he has an out. I think there's an out. I think on his contract after this season.
I just feel bad for the way they Matt Ryan and Kyle Pitts, man, because now everybody's going to focus in on Kyle Pitts. Calvin Ridley's not there. Right. That hurts him too.
That's why I wanted.
They don't have a running back. They say Todd Gurley's there, but Todd Gurley's washed up. He just needs to retire. Goodbye, Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley's there.
Todd Gurley's not there.
Well, Todd Gurley was there. He was trash. So
no, he was there last year.
Ever since the knee injury, Todd Gurley has never been that explosive running back.
Absolutely not. I just feel like it's time for Ryan to go. It goes.
He has a potential. He has a potential out next year, so I don't think he'll be back.
And I just feel bad for my Philadelphia natives and Matt Ryan and Kyle Pitts. Get out.
The biggest issue that nobody wants to talk about when it comes to NFL quarterbacks is we have this problem. Peyton Manning played till he was 40. Tom Brady's playing till he's 44. 36 years old. Joe Montana was out of the league, I think, at 36. 36 is old for a quarterback. Matt Ryan came in as a starter from day one. He's taken a lot of hits, a lot of time in the NFL. We expect these guys to, it's an easy position. They don't get hit as much. It's still 36 years old is old for a quarterback. So it's not surprising to see somebody like Matt Ryan. Let's take off his MVP season. Like you said, Jonathan, take off his MVP season off the top. Take off his worst season at the bottom. Now we're going to grade on the meaty part of his career. Yes, Easy, you're right. He is a top 10 quarterback in his generation. The problem is nobody cares about 6 through 10, which is where he ranks. When we talk about all-time greatest players, nobody has the big all-time arguments about 6 through 10. They just don't. They have arguments about 1 through 5. And the problem is that Matt Ryan has been an above-average quarterback in an era where
there's a lot of above-average quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame too, but I'm not going to say that either.
He's not in the Hall of Fame. He's not even close to a Hall of Fame candidate.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it is a lot of above-average quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame that should
be. But the NFL Hall of Fame, like most Hall of Fames, is wrong and sucks. So that doesn't really matter. But the simple fact is we can't expect Matt Ryan and these quarterbacks who hit this wall at 35, 36, 37 to continue playing and say, oh, no, they can hang on. Look how fast Eli lost it. Look how fast Kurt Warner lost it. Look how fast Peyton. Like
you gotta look at the difference between
it is. It just keeps falling out.
And Peyton Manning and Tom Brady is going through.
They don't like
they built the offensive line for Peyton Manning. They built the offensive line for Tom Brady to still be successful. With the names like Matt Ryan and the Phillip Rivers of the world, when did they really have an offensive line? When did they really have a complete football team like Tom Brady?
Never.
Andrew Luck.
Never.
Exactly. So when you see these elite quarterbacks that's top 10, top 5 of those quarterbacks have the offensive line.
I see where Spotlight's coming from, and now you can kind of picture it. Matt Ryan would have been a lot better had he had an offensive line around him.
He doesn't have a line.
One year out of how many seasons? 1 year out of how many?
Yeah,
seasons?
Maybe 2.
Come on,
maybe 2. 1.5.
I can take that.
1.5 because of injuries. Yeah, but it's been a minute since he's had a line, and people don't. But like I said, he has carried that team a lot of seasons, and people don't pay attention because, of course, if they lose, it's his fault. Of course, when they win, it's somebody else's fault. It's not. It's not. It's everybody else. But it is, and that's why I laugh at the situation because it's like. That's why I would never want my son to be a quarterback. I'm just going to throw that out there because of that. Lakers won. I'm hoping for the Raiders tomorrow. Happy holidays. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. You too, Mr. Davis. But go Cowboys because
the Lakers did win finally.
Damn, they know LDZ, y'all about to spank us tomorrow.
I don't know. We'll see if CeeDee Lamb plays or not.
I'm telling you this right now. It doesn't matter what you have on a football field. The Raiders ain't winning no football games with a 1999 offense. Sorry. It's just not happening.
Well, ours is only like 2001, so it might be a battle that we didn't even know.
I don't even know what the fuck going on.
I'm not even picking that game. I'm not even picking who wins that game. And I'm a Raiders fan. I'm sorry.
I hope my team loses. I hope my team gets stopped.
You don't have faith in the Raiders that they can beat the
Hell no. When you're averaging 2.8 yards a carry with Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake, I'm sorry, you can't win football games like that.
Yeah.
Well, when you release when you release or trade 3/5 of your offensive line and overdraft a guy in the first round, those things tend to happen.
3 years in a row, it was reaches for draft picks. Come on.
That sounds like the Cowboys.
Worried for Khalil Mack. I'll live with it.
Y'all can keep Khalil Mack. I'm happy Khalil Mack is in Chicago because everybody that left the Raiders are happy somewhere else. I'm just saying.
Hey, don't tell my fiance.
I said this on my live stream, Raiders Talk live stream yesterday. I said Derek Carr, get out and dodge of the Raiders organization right now. Ask for a trade or ask for a release because they don't appreciate you here. They just don't. Get the hell out and dodge.
Don't tell my fiance's family that because they big time Raider fans and. I mean, they're so
keeping it real.
The team,
when you have one winning season in 2 decades, and people want to blame Derek Carr, I'm done with that.
I agree. I'm a big Derek guy. I'm big on Derek.
Yeah, you can't just blame it all on the quarterback all the time, but that's how it is,
guys. Rather than just blamed it on Matt Ryan, but that's neither here nor there.
It's the lazy way. Okay, people blame
the lazy way
on the quarterback. You know, the quarterback's going to take 90% of the blame. So
it's because of the most recognizable person. Everybody knows
and the quarterback is the most recognizable person.
That's why I like playing safety because I just kind of got to do my thing, and no one wanted to talk to me after the game.
It's the most criticism when something goes wrong.
It's crazy when you have a defense that gives up 40 points a game and you still blame the quarterback. That's just insane to me. That's just
Before we move on, hold on, Jonathan. Before we move on, I wanted to say this to Mike because yesterday was Fire Nagy at the Bulls game. Tonight it is Fire Nagy at the AEW Dynamite.
You missed one, LGZ. They went to Matt Nagy's son's playoff game. And
God, they took it that person.
Nagy better go.
Yeah, he needs to go.
Let's go Lions. Let's go Lions. If we lose to the Lions and that man has a job by Friday morning, white privilege is the realest thing to ever enter the NFL.
They're probably waiting to the end. Knowing the Bears, they're probably waiting to the end of the season to fire him.
Okay,
well,
so
at least you ain't got an interim coach. At least you ain't got an interim coach that look like Goldberg. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So
because
anybody want to answer this question? So the Falcons have one winning season.
Do you blame Matt Ryan?
I blame Julio Jones not being healthy.
I blame the organization. I blame the organization. Honestly,
I blame the front office for not building successfully enough around Matt Ryan.
Their drafting skills is about as bad as the Raiders. Like seriously, like and the Cowboys. They're about the worst because my best friend is a Cowboy. Who I do my show with on Tuesdays is a Falcons fan. So I hear the woos, the woes, the everything. And I was a Ryan fan before, me and him became like really good friends, but people just don't realize how much drafting plays a part in a team. They think they can draft one player and that's it. Like that's all they need. You only need to draft one person, and it's supposed to work. No, you need more pieces than that. Like, this was the first year, I will say, the Cowboys actually drafted what they needed,
right,
and not what they just wanted. Don't get me wrong, I like CeeDee Lamb, but he was a want, not a need.
The Raiders was a want, and we skipped on them.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
To answer the Atlanta question, I think the biggest problem that Atlanta has, and I don't know if this is something that they can control or not, they've actually been able to bring in really talented players, but instead of having like 4 to 7 year long careers, they have like a 2 to 4 year long.
Yeah, the windows are very small.
And I don't know if that is part of the organization. I don't know if that's the training staff. I don't know if that's the coaching staff. I don't know what that is. But there's one other issue, and people don't want to talk about it. It's the salary cap. When you have guys, and again,
they overpaid the shit out of players.
Julio Jones deserved to be the highest paid receiver, one of the highest paid receivers in the league.
In Washington too.
But if you don't structure those contracts in a way that help you improve your team around them, it doesn't matter. And guess what? I hate to tell people this. People talk about Green Bay not being a free agency destination. When's the last time big-time free agent that signed in Atlanta?
I know Sean Taylor.
I'll wait.
You can't name it. Same thing for the Raiders. You can't. I mean, we traded for Antonio Brown.
I know he got traded. He got traded.
Washington, and now all I'm thinking about is Sean Taylor. That just killed.
So I'm trying to think. The last person I think, but he got traded there. He came. But I can't think of a signing. And it's been a minute.
To be honest, Joe, it's Cordell Patterson, and that speaks volumes.
Yeah, Cordell.
You know what's bad about Atlanta? This is the one thing that's bad about Atlanta, where you have Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and Atlanta Falcons play games on Sundays, and Chick-fil-A ain't open. I'm just saying, why would you put a Chick-fil-A in Mercedes-Benz, knowing darn well on Sundays they not gonna be open?
I hate
that's
to tell
what I want to know.
There's a Chick-fil-A where the Braves play.
It's a Chick-fil-A in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Go check on your cheeseburger. We don't care about your pop. Go check on your cheeseburger, fool.
They do have other events in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but again,
I'm gonna go check on my dinner right now. I'll be back.
Hey, I have a question because I want to get Mike's opinion on the Bears real quick. Because you're talking about the Fire Nagy stuff. LaDonna mentioned about how the chance at AEW, the chance at the Bulls game, the chance at apparently his kids' game, which is just insane to think about.
We come strong.
They have never, in the history of their organization, in 101 years, fired a head coach mid-season. It's never happened. Matt Nagy, for all the criticisms, has a winning record as a Bears head coach. Took Mitchell Trubisky as the starting quarterback twice to the playoffs. Now, listen, I am not saying
defense took them to the playoffs.
That's fair enough. But what I'm saying is there have been much worse head coaches that have stuck around in Chicago and other places. As a Bears fan, what about Matt Nagy for 101 years of tradition and 2 playoff berths makes you want to get rid of him so bad that you would cut off an appendage?
Set yourself on fire.
But I have he's good friends with my guy Mal Gooley, that's a Chicago Bears fan too.
Mal Gooley's Matt Gooley's amazing at what he does.
He keeps it real. And one thing about Nagy, for his play calling, he doesn't have the personnel for his play calling. He doesn't play to the player's strengths. That's one thing that he doesn't do. For me, from the outside looking in, from when I look at games, I'm sitting here and like, you bring back David Montgomery. I understand he came off of IR, but Khalil Herbert was averaging 100 yards a game, and you bench him
he was killing it.
I'm just saying, you just don't take away the hot hand. It's just stuff like that. Is more like He's not simplifying it for his players. He's making it too complicated for them, and they're not catching on to it. Yeah, Mooney is looking good with Justin Fields. Don't get me wrong; they both rookies. They look good, but I feel like Matt Nagy's play calling sucks.
Wasn't the game that Mike Nagy was out? Didn't they look better as a team?
It was amazing.
And that's when they beat the Raiders, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think it was. What's that game?
Beat the Raiders. They beat us 20-6.
It was the 49ers.
With no Matt Nagy.
But yeah, to me, Joe, to answer your question, I read people. As a player, as whatever you want to call me, as an athlete, I feel like my greatest skill is I can read the room when people can't. And I know whether this guy's feeding me bullshit or if I'm willing to actually die for this cause and for this team. When Matt Nagy came into the room in 2018 and he said, I love Mitchell Trubisky, I knew it was bullshit. I knew he was feeding it. He was just trying to get his foot in the door, and I don't blame you. You want to say you're a part of the Andy Reid tree, that's perfectly fine. Again, it's just like my backup safety when we played in high school and in college and all that. Like, yeah, okay, you worked under Mike Hughes. You never played, so I don't care. You're not Mike Hughes. At the end of the day, point blank, period. I'm not hyping me up. I'm just saying, just because you worked with me doesn't mean that we are at all the same. With Mitchell Trubisky, this man right here, Joe, is a car salesman. He's going to tell you, here's the game plan, here's the whats, here's the whys, and here's why everything's going to work the way it is. But when you pull out of that lot, that fucking car is ass, and that car is going to die on you. And regardless, you're going to bring the car back into the lot, and he's still going to tell you it is an amazing car, and that's his game plan.
L. Deezy, who that sound like, L. Deezy? What other coach sounds like that?
Okay. But Joe,
there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
No, I thought y'all would have said John Gruden because John Gruden said that bullshit.
Because he did that, and even the Clapper. The Clapper was the same way. That's why.
So my biggest point why you
that's why he has no job.
101 years you've never done it. Why you do it right now is because Monday morning, Robert Quinn, Khalil Mack, Allen Robinson, Justin Fields, Andy Dalton, and Foles are caught on the sideline talking shit about this guy. They all come into the players' meeting and say they want Nagy gone. Now, the difference is when Jay Cutler wanted Mark Trestman gone, no one gave
out
because Jay Cutler wanted to be gone. So they were like, whatever, it is what it is. You're both going to be gone at the end of the season regardless. But right now, if you keep Matt here and ignore your players, Allen Robinson, if he's not already leaving, is gone. Khalil Mack will request a trade, and other people will start to realize you don't give a shit about us. You are a player's coach. You are not the guy we want. You are not the guy we want in this system. And as an ownership, you look at it and you say, Ryan Pace, great GM. I think he's a better head of a scouting department. Hear me out, Joe.
I don't know about that one, Mike.
Hear me out, Joe. If you look at it as constructed, that 2018 Chicago Bears team could win a Super Bowl. Where you messed up, you put the wrong personnel around all of those guys. You put in a guy who, if you don't fit his system, he doesn't use you at all. Jordan Howard, 3 years in a row over 1,000 yards. Matt Nagy comes in, and now he's a career backup just trying to float around because Matt Nagy didn't utilize him correctly. You look at Mitchell Trubisky. Okay, he can run. All right, let's never run with Mitchell Trubisky. Let's make him throw 40 times a game. That'll fucking work. Justin Fields. Look how uncomfortable Justin Fields looks with Matt Nagy versus when Matt Nagy was gone. Justin Fields is over there running. He's screaming. He's flying around. He's doing things he was doing in Ohio State. He's making Wagner, not Wagner. What's his name in the 49ers? Their best linebacker. This guy is a stud.
Fred Wagner.
Fred Wagner. Okay, I was thinking Bobby, but he's making Fred Wagner look like a D3 basketball player. This guy's on skates. He's flying around. Justin Fields is the future. And Matt Nagy has done nothing but prove that it's his way or no way. And that's not a team. And if you don't fire him right now, if they lose to the Lions, that entire locker room is gone. Not only with
the locker room is already gone, in my opinion.
No, the locker room is gone with Matt Nagy. But the locker room
that's what I'm saying with Matt Nagy, right.
It'll be gone as a whole. As I want to stay on this team if he ends the season with this, because that's not the way you want to go. And Matt Nagy, to Joe's point, this is my last point. You talk about his personnel, and Spotlight made a great point. He doesn't have great personnel around him. That's because he's afraid of them taking his job. He brings in Bill Lazor. He brings in other shitty offensive coordinators. Why? Not because he wants to feed off of their opinion, because they're yes men, because they're not going to take his job. That's because he has to fill the position. He doesn't give a shit about their opinion. He just wants to make sure that his job is safe. And that's the real problem right now. The guys Matt Nagy brought in.
Just like the Raiders all over again.
Exactly. That's why
not everything's about the Raiders. Not everything's about the Raiders.
No, but if you feel the pattern, but I'm saying, like, I feel it for several years of how they're feeling. That's how I felt with the Clapper. And now I'm starting to feel that way with Mike McCarthy. Like, I was never sold on Mike McCarthy coming here.
Mike's the same way.
Yeah, so when they got here, I was just like, I have to deal with it.
These head coaches just want that power trip. They want to make all the calls. They want to make all the plays. Now, if you're going to hire an offensive coordinator, what's the point of you hiring him if you're not letting him actually coordinate?
Now, Joe, here's what I want to ask you. Is not firing Matt Nagy worth Khalil Mack and Allen Robinson wanting to walk?
I'm going to answer that question, and then I have something to say to Spotlight. Mm-hmm. The answer is yes, because Allen Robinson was gone anyway.
Right. Now
he's not going to stick around. Khalil Mack, again, he didn't ask to be traded by the Raiders. He wanted to get paid by the Raiders. They traded him. Chicago's where he ended up. So Khalil Mack
wanted out once John Gruden got signed there for that 10-year tender. He wanted out.
Okay, but he wanted paid.
Right.
He wanted paid.
He wanted paid, but even if he wanted paid, he didn't like Gruden either.
It didn't matter. Listen, it didn't matter if the last name on the check was McCaskey or whether it was Davis. He wanted paid. That was the biggest thing. So it didn't matter where it was. So in that regard, I just personally think that, again, I don't think Matt Nagy's a great head coach. I don't think Ryan Pace is a great GM. I think that both of them need to be gone. I think when both your GM and your head coach are on lame duck contract years with no extensions, it's a bad look for the franchise, especially going to the rookie quarterback. So to me, that falls on ownership. Now, Spotlight, I want to refer to something you said, because you said that Khalil Herbert was killing it. On the season so far, Khalil Herbert, in 10 games played, has 86 carries for 364 yards, which is 4.
That's the game that he started, though.
No, this is total games, which is 4.2 yards per carry.
Right.
In 4 fewer games, David Montgomery has only 10 more carries and 64 more yards for a 4.5 yard.
And I'll say this to your point, though, Joe.
But I think Khalil Herbert But Khalil Herbert had when Khalil Herbert had to start, he had a hotter hand.
Right, Joe. What Spotlight's trying to say to you is this: look at it like this: those 10 games that he played, most of them he would get 1 carry by Matt Nagy. Now, the 5 games that he started, he had over 90 yards the majority of those games. He was killing it, and he had he had receiving yards. He was being a dual threat running back. He was top 4 in rushing yards from week 4 on from David Montgomery's injury. That's the fact of the matter. He was a top 4 running back, and nobody was talking about it just because he didn't start the season. If you look at it from week 4 on to when he took over for David to now, he was top 4. David Montgomery comes back with a fucking hyper knee extension and is like, give him
a full workload. Okay. That's not good.
And Joe, here's the biggest problem. Out of everything you said, every day Matt Nagy goes on there and he says, here's the whys. Here's the whys to why we lost. He gives like 5 different bullet points, and those are the whys. I call them the why the fucks, because at the end of everything he says, it's why the fuck are you still here, and why the fuck are you telling me this if you're not going to change anything at the end of the fucking week? That's what blows me. And you know what? I'm probably going to get yelled at Freddie, but I don't give a fuck. Fuck Matt Nagy.
Hey, you ain't putting me in trouble.
Then maybe the issue goes above his pay grade, which would then go to ownership. And just so you know, I don't want to pretend.
They're all awful.
Hold on, I don't want to pretend that I'm not listening. Spotlight, Mike, you guys talked about catching in games this year. David Montgomery has 9 catches for 75 yards. Khalil Herbert has 9 catches for 44 yards. So not only has David Montgomery outran him in fewer games, he's caught just as many passes for almost twice the yards.
In the game, but if you look at the offense, now with David Montgomery, and you look at it with Khalil Herbert fits the offense better than David Montgomery does. He does.
We're going to move on. We're going to move on because we talked about
just looking at productivity to win games.
Yeah, we've been on this. I allowed y'all to talk for a while. So we're going to go one more NFL topic, and then we're going to go to the NBA. We will now be in the second half. Jonathan, that burger. You must remember he had 2 beers.
He was going to go get it. He didn't say he was going to eat it.
Yeah, well, he needed to eat it. After those 2 beers, you could tell he was just all cheesy.
My boy.
So, yeah.
I didn't drink a beer with an empty stomach, Jonathan. Come on now.
2.
Come on now.
Now being in the second half of the NFL season, there's any teams you think will turn it around and possibly make it into the playoffs. Do you have a dark horse? and that team make any upsets. I'll just go first because I didn't really get a chance to talk about the last one. I could see there's a couple teams. I can.
LDs, I got a feeling you're gonna say the same thing I'm going to say. I got a feeling.
I'm just gonna. Go Carolina.
Oh no.
It was on because it's. I don't know which Cam's going to show up. I like Cam, but obviously we're not going to get the 2015 Cam.
I think it's a nice story.
Yeah, and it's a great Cinderella story. Come back home, you got the crowd all excited. But I don't know. Like, it's a 50-50, but I always root for black quarterbacks. Like, that's my thing. I've always done. I've always rooted for black quarterbacks. Like, that's just how I've always been. Should. And so I got to go for Cam. Like, I just don't know. I don't know how it's going to end.
They could really run the table the way their division is set up. They could really run the table.
Yeah, they could. And
North is crap.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a team?
I do. y'all might not disagree with this, but they lead in their division, but I still think they are a dark horse, and that's the New England Patriots.
That was my other one.
We was here. I think the New England Patriots are catching fire right now. Yep. Where they're playing, their defense is playing stout. They got two running backs that can run in between the tackles with Stevenson and Harris. Kendrick Bourne is coming up to be a target for Mac Jones. I don't know what's going on with Jonnu Smith and his injury, but you still got Hunter Henry there. I just think right now, since the Bills is not looking like the best team in the division, I'm going with the New England Patriots as a dark horse that could run the table and probably beat one of these top teams in the AFC.
Now, last week, they asked me this prior to the Jonathan Taylor stuff, and I said the Colts, and Freddie laughed at me, and then Jonathan Taylor decided that he was my boy and he was going to turn the tables. So I already said the Colts last week, so I'm going to switch it up, and I just want your guys' opinion. I think the Eagles, with this final home stretch, you're looking at the Eagles right now. I mean, first of all, they've been dogging.
And you're fired.
No, wait, but LaDonna, just hear me out. And it's the main reason.
Trust me, I know. I already know.
Division, but I look at that final spot with the Vikings. They're 5-5. And
Mike, you hear my dad in the back? He said Eagles go to the Super Bowl.
I'm not, but they are.
And you know what? I was about to say hi to you. I was going to say hi to you, Dad, but they're heartbroken. Just hard to.
They do have a point, though.
He said the Eagles going to do something special.
They do have an upcoming schedule, though. They have the Giants, the Jets, Washington, Giants, Washington, and then the Cowboys. So I do think that versus that final spot being.
I think they lose both games to Washington, though.
Chase Young's out. I really don't think they do. Hey, they're starting to click at the right time. Miles Sanders is back. Jordan Howard's been doing his thing. I
understand that, but they still got the worst linebackers in football. Their linebackers is coming off Broad Street. I don't know who they still have the best.
But they still have the best four. They still have about the best four defensive linemen that people are sleeping on. So that's
Taylor Heineke versus an ascending Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith right now.
We're not going to do that with Taylor Heineke. I'm all for Taylor Heineke in Washington.
I love Taylor. I'm taking Jalen.
I'm picking Ty.
Let's go. More touchdowns instead of running 3. I mean, he threw no passing touchdowns last week. He ran for 3. I don't mind that, but I just want to see some more passing touchdowns by Jalen.
We said the same thing about Lamar.
Facts.
Facts. Okay. That's fair. My team is Minnesota. Right now, Minnesota's in the 6th spot in the NFC. They're 5-5. There's a bottleneck behind them of teams, including Philadelphia, including Carolina, that are 5-6, that are half a game back. Yeah. I think Minnesota getting that win against Green Bay, I think, despite what happened today with Everson Griffin, they're getting healthier on defense. Harrison Smith is back. Patrick Peterson is back. I think if Dalvin Cook can stay healthy, Justin Jefferson is going to really explode. The last 2 weeks, you could argue he's the best receiver in football over the last 2 weeks, having 2 dominant games, one on the road, one against a division opponent. And Kirk Cousins, for all his faults and all the things I don't like about Kirk Cousins, the one thing that he can absolutely do is he can play in the cold weather, and he can absolutely play at home in the Dome. He is not going to be scared to go to Chicago. He's not going to be scared to go to Green Bay. I'm not saying he can win those games, but I'm saying this is not a guy that you have to concern yourself with of being acclimated to the cold.
Right.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm going to be real with you. I think he wins those games in Chicago. Khalil Mack, Eddie Jackson, Akeem Hicks, Danny Trevathan, they're all out for the season. So I don't – it's realistically – and Justin Fields might be shut down just for precautionary things. And if we don't have a head coach, which doesn't really matter anyways, but it's definitely going to be one of those things where you have to walk into Chicago twice, and you can probably win both of those games.
Yeah, you might. Yeah. I think –
go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry. No. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to mention. I've been bringing it up periodically this month that November is mental health awareness month for men, and here we are again, needing to speak on it with Everson. Like, we don't know the whole situation. We just know about he called. There was an intruder. There wasn't an intruder. The police came out and said. There wasn't an intruder, he wouldn't come out, refused to come out. Then he finally did, after hours of refusing. And whatever his demon is, I hope he gets it fixed. I don't know if it, what it is.
Who are we talking about?
No, Everson Griffen.
Everson Griffen. Yeah. So whatever his demon is, I hope he gets help.
In 2018, he stepped away from the team for 5 games to deal with his mental health. Yeah, the report that he was on social media brandishing a gun, saying that there was an intruder and people were chasing after him, trying to quote unquote pop him. He did discharge his firearm within his house, but nobody was injured. Vikings personnel were at his house, assisting police with mental health officials that have worked with him with the Vikings. It was, I think, anywhere between 4 and 6 hours, depending on the timeline that I've seen, that he was inside the house. But you're right, LaDonna. Very important that he gets help. Lane Johnson this year took time off. Calvin Ridley took time off. Players you don't remember, Barrett Robbins for the Super Bowl, if you remember, for the Raiders, to Spotlight, if you can remember him, took off. He was kind of ostracized at the time, but later on realized, like holy crap, this guy really had some problems again. Like,
I remember that.
Yeah, me and LaDonna just took a week off.
Get the help that you need.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about taking another week off. So like it's getting to that, you know what I'm saying? Like, but now I think people are it's becoming a more of a norm, which needs to be.
Right.
Like your mental health is more important in this game.
And also, Spotlight changed his shirt and
anything in life,
get away with not telling anybody, but I definitely noticed.
Yeah. I don't think he heard you. Yeah,
I'm rocking with the new fit spot. Oh, he gonna change his shirt again.
He's gone. He's gonna change it again. No, he's gonna change his background. He's gonna change his background.
Yeah. Jonathan should be able to talk about anything. Mike should be able to talk about anything. I should be able to talk about anything. Same as you should be able to talk about anything and not be afraid to be laughed at or questioned upon or whatever or criticized. Like you said, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah. I was just about to say that too. I was about to go back to that famous phrase and say it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, like and to tell people to move out of your way. Like, like Jonathan asked a question earlier and I said, don't worry about it. Just keep doing you. You know what I'm saying? Like the best thing to kind of fight your demons is just fight on.
Rocking.
And acknowledge that you have them.
Yeah. And once you acknowledge and like I told Mike, because Mike came to me when I went MIA and I told him, I said, once you realize what your triggers are, that's what makes life easier. And I know it's harder when you're, especially any professional athlete or anybody famous.
Yeah.
You might have those triggers, but you can't really ignore them because you might have a press conference or you might have, a book, a signing or some type of meeting or, your day is booked. And so you can't really address it like us 5 could.
Freddie's
but yeah, so that's like I said, I feel bad for the situation. I hope he gets it fixed. Yeah. I hope, but I agree. The Vikings, this,
I just said you're my trigger. Go away, bro.
Lord.
And we're going to mute. Don't you got to work? Don't you got
trigger? Have anybody seen Mike Hughes?
I'm chilling.
Oh, he's on here to talk about the Lakers winning a game that they barely even won.
We ain't even talking about basketball right now.
We're not even talking about basketball. Freddie. Yeah, we're not even talking about basketball. But I agree with you, Joe. I do like I do like the Vikings, and that win.
What the fuck? Oh.
And that win was huge.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Vikings.
One last thing. I do want to say one last thing before I go. Not to interrupt anybody. The NFL has had a real serious problem with mental health. We talked about it. Chris Henry, ex-wide receiver of the Bengals, had alcoholism, mental health issues before he had an accident and died. Javon Belcher killed his girlfriend, mother of his child, and himself in front of his GM and head coach. Again, I think the NFL has responsibility to the players in the league to not only help them when they're in the league, but afterwards.
Definitely.
I hope that these issues that have come forth, especially this year with the players we talked about, pushes the league into an even more active. Dak Prescott with his brother, Hayden Hurst, the tight end in Atlanta, who's talked about his own demons. I'm sure I'm missing a lot of other players, but it's it's something I really hope that the NFL takes seriously and puts some real money and time and effort behind.
I really want them to put the money and time and effort once these players retire, because once these players retire, that's where they really struggle. The withdrawal of not playing football anymore. And me personally, I've played semi-pro football for 10 years. And when I retired, I had that struggle of withdrawal of not playing. So what I did was to cope with my mental illness was to coach, to have some type of thing to it. But everybody don't have that outlet.
Yeah.
Everybody needs that different outlet. So.
And thank you, Joe, for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me on. Everybody be safe.
You have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to you guys and everybody else.
You too, man.
Yeah, my mama got me trying. My mama got me trying to collard greens right now.
I'm jealous.
She got me trying to collard greens right now.
Yeah. I'm mute. I'm gonna stop camera on Spotlight because I feel jealous because I'm not getting collard greens. So that's
I'm just a taste tester when I come over here to my mama's house.
Oh, that's what you're supposed to be doing.
I ain't cooking, my husband cook.
Yeah, I guess what you're supposed to do. I'm a little jealous.
No, that is on point.
But someone asked about Dan Mullen. We're not really talking about college and college sports. But I will say it's we have a pattern.
Who the hell is Dan Mullen?
Dan Mullen is the Florida Gators coach that just got fired after they played Mizzou. They lost to Mizzou. And if you look about past several teams, they have gotten fired because they played Mizzou. Mizzou beat them, and their team lost. Mizzou. Like Mizzou just, I guess it's a thing.
Can they play the Bears?
They need to come here. They need to come to Dallas. Like I love my. But yeah, Dan Mullen lost in 2020. Derek Mason 2020, Bulimia 2017, and Butch Jones in 2017. All of them.
Hey, Freddie.
All of them got fired 1 week after losing.
Dang, Freddie, you missed that. My mama made some collard greens and them things was banging, man.
Hi, Freddie.
Did she say she didn't make them? Your dad made them?
My dad made them, but my mom got me taste buzzing them. You know?
Yeah, I miss you.
Oh, I missed you too. NFL can't help someone who doesn't ask for help. Okay, let's.
I disagree with that.
Oh, Freddie's here.
Hold on, Jonathan. We'll talk about NBA after I address this.
I will leave.
After I address this, because they don't help at all.
No.
Like when I mean at all, they don't help at all. And you can tell by the players that have left and they came and they had issues in the NFL while they were playing, and they never got the help. I understand CT is real because you got to we still got to remember a lot of these owners don't believe in CTE. Let's start there.
I ain't even gonna lie.
I know, like I already know my owner doesn't believe it.
Yeah.
Like even all these studies and that movie that Will Smith did. If you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Oh, can I be honest, really quick? I can't watch that movie because after my concussions, like some of the stuff they do, it like messes with my head.
It messes. Yeah. So
they be making these sounds, and my head's like, "Holy shit, stop!"
Yeah. So NFL, you know, I get what you're saying because that's a saying for anybody. You can't help somebody that doesn't want to help themselves. But
that's true.
But at the same time, we still don't. With these players, they don't know how to ask for help.
Exactly.
Right.
That's another.
How to ask for help. That's the hard part.
To reach out.
Yeah.
To reach out. Just simply reach out to the
player. Exactly. Especially if you knew they had a history. If you know they had a history.
Josh Gordon's a perfect example of someone who doesn't reach out, but you know you need to reach out to him.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And then did we talk about like he needed like, you know how like it was a simple prime example, Dez. He had some issues.
Yeah.
Right when they put him on like basically like a babysitter type situation, you ain't hear nothing else. Nothing else like about his behavior. Nothing else. Like they made sure he had people in place that he needed. And that's what Josh Gordon, we spoke about this. That's what Josh Gordon needs. And these players, like we spoke about it, need it after. Especially if they've been in trouble, there's a mental health issue. Right. If there's something going on in their career, during their career, or you see the signs, because, you know, you can see the signs like from afar and you don't even have to say nothing. All you have to do is, are you good today? That good today text call is good.
Right.
Dad still hurt my heart though. I'm just gonna let Dad know. Cooking greens, and then can I get some sent? Can I get some sent to Texas, Dallas, Texas?
They talk about your greens.
Can I get some sent to Dallas, Texas? That's all I ask.
Send some greens to LA and Dallas, Texas.
No, Donnie, go ahead. No, don't sit up and act like you don't know how to cook. Now that's not.
I've actually never, to be honest, I've never made greens because my grandma always did it.
That was
my grandma.
My grandma. You gotta make sure you have the right ingredients for greens.
Exactly, and that was one thing I was scared to touch. Like, because my grandma doesn't eat pork either, so she makes it with turkey, you know, and she goes and fries the turkey legs, and she does it perfectly. I don't like nobody else's greens, but hers. So, like, no, he said it because he's seen my food. Like, that's the only reason he's saying it. He's seen it. But my Friendsgiving, I'll show you what my cousin's giving that we're doing Friday. I'll show you what I'm cooking. Hey. Yeah, but I've never made. That was one thing I've never made was greens. I cooked everything else green, but not.
At least you're honest about it, because you know most women would say, "Oh, I could cook some collard greens," and then they taste like shit.
Yes, and I do like it. I do like it, and yes, I do. Hey, I'm gonna be honest, like, because I want to cook everything. So, do I want to learn how to make greens? Yes. The issue is. Greens is like spinach. It takes you like 15,000 pounds just to get you that one bowl. Man. And my husband don't eat it. My parents don't really like it either. So it's only me.
I love greens.
I love greens.
You gotta get the collard greens from the produce place and clean them and.
Yeah, and see, I have a neighbor that has a whole bunch of greens. I just need her to tell me like when they're ready so I can go get it.
I'm eating
food.
I'm eating
we're talking about food.
That's what.
Hey, did you guys hear
with the fat back.
Did you guys hear what?
Yes, I don't eat pork. I don't eat any pork, so it has to be turkey.
No, I love fatback. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Hey, did you guys hear what?
Country.
I can't remember who it was, but it was a defensive player for the New England Patriots. And I guess he was asked about Thanksgiving dinners or whatever. And he said that
he didn't like mac and cheese, right?
Needs to be taken off the table. I disagree. Once he has my mama's
he needs to be bitch slapped.
Hey, once he has my mama's mac and cheese, He's gonna think.
Let me tell you a story about mac and cheese.
Eat your own mama's mac and cheese. You can't eat nobody else. You only can eat your mom the way your mama makes mac and cheese.
Let me tell you, no, that's not true. Because my mom makes it.
I can't go.
The only reason I say it, because my mom makes hers out of a box. Oh. So I'm the one that makes mac and cheese.
Okay.
That's the only reason. But they don't like mac and cheese in my house. Like in my house, nobody eats it. My husband.
If your parents
do they think like that?
I'm looking for a new home.
Defensive player that says that it's noodles.
No, they. So I like it the homemade way.
Me too.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
And put on layers on top of layers.
Yes, I need all the layers. I need all that, but they don't like it like that. They would rather my
Bro, who the hell just said? Who the hell is that?
Ian, he's just saying hi to all of us. But my stepdad would rather have Velveeta mac and cheese.
Hey, I'm just gonna tell you guys this now. We have a show Friday. I'm probably not gonna make it on the show. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna eat
I already told you I'm not gonna make it Friday because I have to cook.
I ain't gonna make it Friday either. I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm gonna be like this.
I now cancel the show.
I'm so motivated.
Might as well.
I'm with it.
Might as well cancel because like I got family coming at 6.
Is that his name, right?
Hey, but you know what? Let's talk about some NBA.
Yeah, go ahead, talk about some NBA.
Here we go.
Can I calm down for this? Because I don't.
Jonathan,
I don't want to hear this.
Jonathan, you know what? We should be thankful. Why should we be thankful? King James that made it. We seen some hecklers out there.
It's poking the bear.
Listen. Stop talking and listen. They were poking the bear. They was messing with him the whole game, and he had to say, "You know what?
The bear punched somebody in the face."
Yeah,
but guess what? He punched him in the mouth tonight. 39.
But the Pacers looked like they were going to run away with it. And there was one point that the Lakers looked so bad that Dr. Jerry Buss could have came back from the dead. I mean, that's how awful.
They looked bad, but guess what? They pulled off the win. That's all that matters, Jonathan. All that matters is that they pulled off the win.
Tonight.
Huh?
What did Lakers play tonight?
Indiana. Nobody special.
Without Anthony Davis. Without Anthony Davis, our best center tonight was LeBron. They literally had LeBron at center tonight.
It doesn't matter.
Like Howard.
Well, we all know LeBron can play all 5 positions. We know this already.
I don't think he actually played center.
It doesn't matter.
He actually played center tonight.
We've been losing.
Hold on. Did he bring the ball up at all?
Yeah, he still did that. Yeah, but the Joker do that. The Joker bring the ball up. That don't mean that. Joker do bring the ball up at some times. He
does, but it's not like LeBron does.
Okay, can we actually talk about a real topic, or are we just gonna?
How about
what I tell you this morning, Mike?
I'd rather talk about food than the Lakers.
I know, for real.
Mike, what I tell you about the Bulls this morning?
We didn't talk this morning.
Oh yeah, we talked.
You know what? I'm a Laker fan.
I really did we?
You on this show this morning? I told you the Bulls gonna beat the Rockets gonna beat the Bulls this morning. I told you that.
You say that about the Bulls every time though. You always.
Who was right? Who was wrong? I was right. You was wrong.
It happens. You lost to OKC twice. Shut the.
And I'm surprised Spotlight on this show because I'm gonna tell y'all a story. Ever since I got on him about them sorry Raiders, he haven't got on the show at all or anything.
A new full-time job. That's what happens. I gotta be to work at 7. Y'all do ASAP in the morning at 10. I'm at work.
It's been running.
You can't say I didn't pull up today. I pulled up.
I was surprised. I said, "Oh, he not scared."
Don't you got like work to do or something? Like you were. It was so quiet. It was so quiet, Freddie.
It was peaceful in here.
It was. It was so peaceful. Mike, where you can't go.
I gotta bounce.
No, Mike. No,
I can't hear you.
No. Mike,
Mike, don't do that. Don't leave us hanging.
I can't. I'm going through it.
I hate him. I hate him so much.
I think I'm going through that same tunnel as well.
I hate. No, I already know what probably tunnel he going down. I ain't gonna talk about it.
Make this all about the Lakers.
Jonathan, you got a Lakers shirt on. Hush.
I sure do. but I ain't gonna sit up here.
You got a Lakers shirt on. Hush.
I ain't gonna lie though, that Lakers shirt is dope. It's like it's just like created, like he just laid the t-shirt down and just got his coloring going. Like,
oh yeah,
it's very creative though. I can say that much.
Thanks. Yeah. I got this from Fanatics actually.
Hey, LeBron looked good at shooting them three. He made 6 of them tonight.
They should. Yeah. So the Nets are currently sitting at top of the Eastern Conference. Do you think to continue their success, or they keep the 1 seed, or is it too early to tell?
They can keep the 1 seed all they want. Don't mean they're going to win the NBA championship. Don't mean they're going to win the NBA championship.
It's too early to tell for the Brooklyn Nets. They don't play no damn defense.
That too, and there's too much pressure on their shoulders. I really think the Miami Heat are coming out of the East.
Let's get this straight. You don't have to play defense the whole game to win. All they need to do. We seen it last year.
Because the Lakers don't.
No, Jonathan, I said this last year. Jonathan, if you ever listen to anything I said this last year.
Like Brooklyn just lose the teams on prime time, and they just when they get that spotlight, they just get blown out. Like
they missed Kyrie.
They got blown out by Boston, and they looked terrible against the Boston team that really only got 2 stars. For real.
But what I'm saying is all they need to do is make timely stops. They don't have to make stops, be this great defensive team to win championships. Everybody get fooled about that.
That's what I'm saying. They got to make those timely stops when it's needed, and they never
they'll be all right. I mean, they're just still figuring it out. KD's constantly talking to Kyrie, begging him to come back. And,
oh, my God. Kyrie ain't coming back this year. He's not.
Can we notice it's like a lot of point guard drama? Like it's just like a whole bunch of point guard.
It is. Like they start to become wide receivers of the NBA. They start to become divas.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I heard, but I'm sitting here immediately when you told me that he was begging for him at that Tyrese and Chigi song, Cam hit. That the song.
And I'm
that's when he came back. That's immediately with the song when he said, "Bringing me back, you back." Yes, I heard Tyrese. I need you in my life. Yeah.
Is it raining out there with you right now?
No, it's supposed to rain tomorrow night. Hey, he has the same first name as my husband.
What's going on, Arku? What's going on, brother?
Yeah, my husband's name is Karam.
I've been calling him RQ since like 2017. He's been in my he's been.
But let me tell you, when I first met him, he said, I was like, "What's your name?" And he was like, "My name is Kay." I said, "Your mama did not name you Kay. What is your name?"
Anthony, you saw that picture too? It was crushing.
But what's so funny is I don't even call him by Karam. I call him by Zamani. I call him by her last name because I've been calling him that. Like how you said, for years. We've been together 10 years, and I've been calling him Zamani for 10 years. Can we talk about KD? Don't believe in lotion. He don't believe in a comb either. So obviously, you get paid $50 million. It don't matter what you know what I'm saying? It don't matter how much. As long as you're the top leading scorer, you don't need to have lotion, baby powder, a comb, a brush, any essentials. At least we know he's taking a shower. I'm just saying,
he needs a hair transplant. That's what he needs.
There's a lot of players in the NBA that just need to cut their hair. It's terrible.
He's one of them. And he's one of them.
We don't know. He look like a bunch of peas and rice. It's terrible.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Some days, LeBron, one day he had that edge up, it'd be straighter than the $2 bill. Then one day it'd be like you have like a little piece missing, and I'm like,
exactly.
And then I'll be trying to figure out what kind of pattern he got it going on up here, because
they better start getting these man weaves. I'm telling you, the barbers is doing them now.
My boy does it
2 years ago. My
boy does it spray.
Where he had the twisties in his hair, and you saw the big ball spot in the back of it.
Who had twisties?
It was during the preseason, I think.
Who did that?
KD.
KD has never had that.
No, he had the twisty. He did. He had twisties in his head.
How bad. That's how PZ KD head was. That Jonathan think it was twisted.
The ball spots in his hair. It was terrible. It was an awful look.
KD does go ball.
Look, he was a
KD has never had.
Yeah, he did. He was a subject matter of memes. He was all over the internet.
No, Johnny, you got to. That was Bron. Remember, during the pandemic, he let all.
It was Bron too, but it was
all, his beard was all gray. He was just like he was rough as hell.
Look it up. They were making fun of his hair.
Yeah, Bron was looking like rough as hell. He had like a whole bunch of gray in his beard. Like you could tell this dude. Like that told me, okay, Bron dyed his beard.
I just whatever. People need to know what Bron did
when he came to California. Because he had a hairline that was receiving it. It was going way back.
Whatever he got in that new Peloton, is it a Peloton commercial?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever he got on that commercial, whatever he did, that's what a lot of them need to do.
But you know what NBA players need to do? If you're going to have an afro and you got one dread, just cut the damn dread. Just cut the damn dread.
New braids. THT new braids. Like, I'm like, bro, like, take that off.
Like you got right back here. You have the one dread hanging, and you got like a whole Michael Jackson afro. Like, bro, that does not.
If I ever get a massive bald spot in my head, it's all coming off. I'm sorry. I can't.
Isn't it already off majority anyway?
Oh, no! Look at the group chat.
Like, hold on. Like, I'm trying to figure out, is there hair on there anyway? Not trying to be funny. I was trying to play.
No, you're right, because remember that one video I did and I showed it.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's the one.
What is that? That's not, but that's not
gel. What in
that's
the
not, is that really Lux?
That's
oh,
KD,
no.
Look at the group
I know. Is he really trying to lock his hair?
Oh,
or was he just, or was that just, he didn't comb it?
No, that's when he did try to lock it.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it was locks or he just didn't comb it.
That looked like some burnt mac and cheese.
Dreadlocks, whatever it was. No, it was terrible.
Man.
That was like some burnt mac and cheese.
Man.
That guy probably seen that and he thought that was mac and cheese. He knew about it. You take it off the table.
It looked like a
Mike, how you gonna your computer must die? Because I was like, how you in the comments?
Why does his hair look like when you put raisins in potato salad knowing damn well you're not supposed to?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it was really. Now I remember this because I didn't. And I kept trying to remember if he was trying to lock it or, like I said, it was just a horrible non-comb situation.
He needs a hot comb. He needs some Blue Magic grease. He needs some.
He needs Jesus. Suns and Warriors. This is the comment. Suns and Warriors are going to have the same record after tonight because George.
GSW.
What's GSW? I was like, George, I know. One day. Can't beat the Sixers without their best player. I'm kind of like
half. Walls is trolling me right now.
I'm kind of half watching the game, though. How do we... So we lost Jonathan now, too? We keep losing everybody.
I'm still here.
No, I'm just saying, like, Mike is in our comments, but not on the show, so his computer must have died. And then the aliens must have really died.
He's up 16 over the Warriors, so I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, and the aliens must have got Freddie, because he's in the country. You know, they come getting country folk. But I agree with you guys. It's too early to tell on the Nets, even though the Nets beat up on, like you said, I have maybe only 1.5 good players. Celtics team. They, it's Jason Tatum. Isn't Brown just got back from injury? Who just came back for the Celtics?
I think it was Jaylen Brown.
Well, yeah, it was Brown. Okay, so I was right. Yeah, he just came back, and then that's yeah.
No, that's about. I'm laughing at something that I just read right now.
No, you're fine. It's the beer that when you're how you're laughing. It's the beer talking.
No, it's actually about Carlos Correa.
Well, he might go to.
No, I don't know if you heard what Noah Syndergaard said, but Noah Syndergaard was basically asked who would he want to strike out, and he said Carlos Correa, and he said Croat for the obvious reason, and what he said about Derek Jeter not deserving his gold gloves. And someone left a comment said, throw the fastball at his head. Carlos can't afford health insurance.
Oh shit!
I mean,
goddamn.
I mean,
yeah.
Did y'all see
I don't have an issue with Carlos. Like I'm saying, I don't like the team he's on. I don't like what they did, but he's still one of the best shortstops.
Yeah.
In the game, like his how I look at him is how I look at Tom Brady. I hated the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
My mom hated the Patriots because she feels like they cheated the Rams out of a second Super Bowl. Like
I appreciate.
I never liked him
more after he left.
And I've never liked him, but now like it's so. But he's still one of the top quarterbacks in the league, and so that's how I kind of look at. But that's how I look at Carlos Correa. I don't like him, but I respect what he does. You have just.
I have nothing personal against him. I just what it is.
Yes, you do. No. Yes, you do.
Oh, man, no. What it is with Carlos Correa is his attitude. It's how he conducts himself as a person that turns me off. That.
How do you know what he does in his personal life? Like, how do you know?
But it's very hard for me to root for him because, look, to me, he has not shown any remorse since the incident. Like, he has not been very apologetic. And I think the apology that he did give was a fake-ass one. It was a
But did you really expect that? Like, if you really expected these players to come out and kiss everybody's ass after that, then you got life messed up. That's not how life works.
And
your owner comes out and apologizes. You come out, say your BS apology that everybody knows is BS, and then you're done.
And then he says he earned the championship. Like, dude, just stop. Okay, just
technically but that's how I feel about the Dodgers. Last year, did they really earn it after only that short season? We can say that about the Lakers, and they won in the short season. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of championships are asterisks right now.
Exactly. You can say that.
Because look what they did this past October.
Yeah, like you could say, you know what I'm saying? You could say that about a lot of teams. So you can't get mad because someone feels the way they feel. If I'm have the skill set as Carlos Correa, I would probably be as cocky as him too, and I would not care who didn't liked it or not liked it. But that's just my opinion.
You know, like you said, I don't know how he is off the field, but you know, I will say this, LaDonna, he does do amazing things in the community. I will give him that. Like he has done a lot of great things off the field. So I can't say that. You know, I respect any person that takes their time and their efforts off the field to do great things in the community. So I can't say I do appreciate that.
Yeah, because I've only heard positive things. Like the people that I've heard that had run-ins with Carlos, they said he was one of the nicest men they've ever met. And that's just, you know, like I said. So everybody, you know, how I feel about LeBron is probably somebody thinks he's like one of the greatest people in the world.
I love what he does off the court.
Yeah, I love what he does off the court, but I had a personal run-in with him, so it made me not like him forever. Like I don't like him because of personal reasons. It's not even so much what he does. I met him his rookie season, and he rubbed me the wrong way. So ever since then, I haven't personally liked him. But like I said, everybody's different.
She personally can't stand Scottie Pippen. She said she encountered him on the airplane and he was just rude and so.
But he looks like that. He looks like he's a rude a-hole. Like I'm just gonna put it out there.
Yeah, she said he tried to like disguise himself and made like rude comments to her, and she said ever since then she just like, you know, saw him as a different person after that.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Forgive me, I'm trying to move my chart close to my charger, so I won't die. I'm over here making fun of Mike, but I'm in the same situation.
And I'm about to head out because I'm about to be some more tasty.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk since. Oh my goodness! Come on.
Come on. What's going on?
I closed my thing accidentally. There we go. I closed my thing accidentally, and when it does that, it just automatically shuts my computer off. On that note, here we go again. I did it again. Yeah, because I said I'm on the charger. On that note, since everybody is leaving and it is Thanksgiving Eve, we're going to end it. And Freddie, I thought Freddie was going to be back, but obviously he probably got some food.
He came on the troll with the Lakers and he left.
Yeah,
and then he left.
He's probably celebrating their victory as if they won a championship. Knowing Freddie.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it. So yeah, thank you everybody for coming on. I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving and be safe. Stay away from drunk drivers because I know this is one of those holidays that a lot of people are out while drinking and driving. So
that's what you do.
Yeah, get a DD.
Drive. Be responsible, people.
Yeah, get a DD. Get Uber. One of them, Lyft, something. Do something. Because your family wants you home the next day. Yes. But stay safe, and we'll see you guys Friday. Peace out.
Thanksgiving.
Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.